Hey guys, and welcome to Anything Goes with Leah and Sania. So we're super excited to start this new podcast. This is basically just going to be literally, as the title says, anything goes. Obviously, we're both competing, we're both coaches, posing coaching and an online coach. So we cover quite a broad area, but we're also girls who just love to chat. So there's a lot of topics we'll cover.
Yeah, I'm excited for this because I feel like it'll be nice just to have a chat. And obviously we've got loads of ideas for this, okay? And we're both obviously really heavily involved in competing. And yeah, I'm just really excited to kind of talk through loads of different bits and bobs. So we're gonna basically do a little intro and then go for it.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan today. Like we want to ensure that, like you can listen to us, have a laugh with us, feel like you're chatting with us, but then also potentially like also learn something whilst you're here with us. Because a lot of you guys are like, oh my God, we just love talk like listening to you because it just gets us through like either driving or like cardio or something like that. So it's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah, definitely. I'm excited.
So, shall we introduce ourselves as if like they don't know us?
Yes, I mean, I'm hoping people are just like kind of know a little bit, but we'll go in blind.
We'll go blind. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. So I'm Leah, in case you didn't know, and yeah, I've been competing for this has been like my fifth year now, maybe in bodybuilding.
We don't count the
Um,
first year, do we?
Well, the first one, God, I mean, I'm sure we'll cover this at some point, but I actually found my first photos the other day, and I just thought, oh my God, this is literally an embarrassment. Like, I cringe so much at these
Oh, it's
flipping
really
stage
good to
photos.
show people though, like you can go from to PCA Pro. It's a really good,
True, true.
it's a
Yeah,
really
that is
good.
true. Yeah, but the posing, I need to. You haven't seen my first posing videos, but honestly, you will die because I died. I'm not even a posing coach. But anyway, yeah. So did my first show in 2018, and yeah, I've been basically competing for a few years now. So I am an online coach that works with females essentially from lifestyle through to like physique development. So in terms of like doing photo shoots, getting on stage. Yeah, and I came from like a PT background, so I was PTing before lockdown, and then sort of transitioned into online coaching from 2020. So I've been a coach now for nearly 7 years, which is mad. Like I can't believe it's been that long.
Almost a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. Well, I started when I was at uni because I studied sports science at uni, and I started like PTing in my last year of uni. So I would have been like 21, and
That's
I'm nearly 27. So I know I'm
that's
so old
crazy.
now.
You're not
Oh,
old.
so
You're not old.
I'm old compared to you. So yeah, coaching for a few years. So this will be my fourth prep that I'm doing this year now. And I've got my first girls competing this year as well, which I'm really excited for. So yeah, that's basically a very brief intro into
And
me.
she's forgotten the fact that she's a British champ and PCA Pro,
Oh,
maybe add.
yes, that's my point. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, had a well, a pretty good couple of years competing. So we actually competed together in 20, what year was it?
It was
2021.
2020. We were meant to be on the British stage together. So me and Leah competed together in 2020.
Was it 2020?
2020 because I was turning 20. Oh no,
It was
2021.
2021, end of 2021.
End of 2021. It's because I compete when I was 20. That's why I get confused.
Right, yeah.
Um, but it turns out I was on the cusp of being tall and short, and because there was like, because I won my other shows in short class,
Yes.
but because there were so many of you short girls, they just moved whoever was close to being tall
Yeah.
and tall. And thank fuck they did, as I say every time. Because obviously we both won our British
Yeah.
championship there, didn't we? I mean,
Yeah,
you
which is really cool.
British champ, aren't you?
No, that was so that's the first time I've ever done a British champs.
Oh, really? For some reason, I thought
Yeah.
you were a two times British champ.
I qualified the first time I competed, but I didn't make it through the summer for the next prep.
Yeah, fair enough. That's That's brutal.
Yeah, so that was the first one. Yeah, and then did my other prep. So basically came out of my prep and went straight into another prep, which was not fun. And competed again in May. And that's where I went up to athletic and then won the pro card and the overall at the universe in May last year. Which is mad. I can't believe that.
I remember watching you and just remember seeing like a crowd of like 100 people screaming. I was like, fucking hell, talk about a crowd.
It was so nice because I had like clients there and like Will's family, and it was literally like the best day ever.
I bet. Oh, I bet. I mean, you had a really great turnout and you had like great results. So
yeah, it was nice. It was nice. So yeah, brief intro into me. I have 3 sausage dogs. I feel like I need to add that because the sausage dogs get more traction on my Instagram account than I do.
That's your only identity. I have sausage dogs.
I know, literally. That's my life, bodybuilding and sausage dogs.
Love that. How many do you have now? 2?
3.
3. 3. I thought you had 2. God.
No, I've got 3.
Yeah, I don't.
So I had 2. I'm like a crazy sausage dog mum. I had 2, and then we like adopted another little girl. So we were only meant to be temporarily looking after her, but we decided to keep her. So we've got 3 now. I've shut the door so they don't like hijack the podcast because they do that a lot.
I'm sure the viewers won't mind unless they're barking in there.
I'm sure they'll come on at some point. We'll do a sausage dog feed podcast.
That's gonna be the clout chaser. Sausage dog takes the lead. Or something like that. But just a quick introduction to myself. My name's Sania, so I'm the other half of this podcast. I started competing at the age of 20 in 2021. I've ever done 2 shows. I did PCA first time in September, which I went to win my class and then the overall. I then did the same British like we spoke about, and then obviously got my British championship there. And then currently now I'm also a posing coach, which I started in December. And I'm currently at uni, in my 3rd year of uni. I've got 11 weeks left and I'm like slowly just getting there. I'm so done with it. Like, I don't know if anyone is in their 3rd year here, but it's just knowing that you're so close but so far. Like, it's just awful. Like, being so far away from it is almost better because you think, oh, I've got 2 years, but when you're literally 11 weeks to go, it's like
countdown.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And then I'm currently it's my 1-week anniversary into prep, so it's officially been 1 week. So I am prepping for a bikini show this year. I did figure last year. My explanation on why it's quite a long one, so we'll leave it out for this podcast.
I've just watched it.
Have you just watched it? So Leah,
I watched it when I was doing my cardio this morning.
Love it.
Because I was like, I want to know this.
You pretty much knew, to be fair, anyway.
I know, but I wanted to watch the reveal video.
Well, thanks for the view. So yeah, that's literally all I have about my life. I mean, I have a pug, but I don't live with my dog, unfortunately. I'm living the dream, to be honest. I live with my best friend. I have my own business. I'm prepping. I have a partner. Currently, just living life and just busy, which is, I think we both are. Trying to schedule this in was like,
I think we spent about 10 minutes going through our Google calendars trying to find a weekly time slot where we could actually do it.
Honestly, but it's something that we've spoken about. I don't know, we wanted to do it for a couple of months now, so we were like, we need to get cracking on this. So
yeah, because I think it'll be really good because obviously you've got like hundreds of girls that work with you that obviously compete. I've got girls that are competing, and I just think, having somewhere where people can ask questions and we can talk about, bodybuilding and just common things that come up within like competing, but then also make it like real as well. So it's not really, formal and interviewee, and just make it, helpful for girls that are going to be competing and going through like that journey.
And that exactly that. And obviously with me being in my prep now, I'm going to be giving you like weekly prep updates, kind of like how things are going, just like brief updates, just so you can kind of like follow through with me. When Leah's on her prep, you'll go through that. So you can truly see, like, from our YouTubes as well, but in YouTube you can edit and you can cut, that this is completely raw. This is
Yeah.
our current opinions, like, you know, once we say it, it's out there, kind of thing.
Hopefully it's only stupid.
I'm sure we'll be okay. But you will be able to kind of see through the process, and that actually kind of moves us on to the topic of kind of what we wanted to base this podcast on, because it's something that a lot of your clients, my clients, are, and the questions that they ask. And, you know, like being first timers ourselves before, we have learned from our mistakes. So we thought, you know, we'd start it off with probably the most asked question, which is advice for first timers. And we want to be able to kind of make sure you can still make some mistakes, it's okay, but also these are maybe the ones that you shouldn't make and you should be aware of.
Yes, yeah. And I wish that I had talked to someone about competing before I decided to compete.
I
Because I
mean,
feel like I just went in and was like, what have I done?
yeah,
I feel like you were definitely a lot better prepared than me, because you absolutely smashed your first time competing and became a British champion, and mine was just not a fun experience.
But then that leads us to like our advice, in the sense of, I was quite well surrounded and I had quite a good coach, and I was with him for a while before my prep. But you, on the other hand, were completely different. Like, you had friends going out, right?
So I was at uni, but I was not around bodybuilding at uni. I was like going out all the time on the swim team. Like, I went out like
That's why
three times a week at uni. Pardon?
That's why you've got good delts, because you're on the swim team.
I think because I swam like literally 25 plus hours a week all through my teens. It was like ridiculous training times. So I think I just I basically grew up swimming. But yeah, at uni I was literally going out like 3 times a week. So then trying to like go into a prep when I was just surrounded by that was literally impossible. And I'd literally just started training, so I didn't really have a clue about bodybuilding at the time and like what it actually involved.
How did you even get into it? Like, I'm sure it's probably someone at the gym do it, right?
Yeah, so actually my ex-boyfriend was like quite into bodybuilding, and then he worked
the
at
same story that everyone has. I have that story.
That's how most girls get into it though, isn't it? Through like through like ex-partner or whatever. Usually. But I was actually lifeguarding at the gym, and I started working on the gym floor, like teaching classes. And there were it was at Virgin Active in Sheffield actually. And there were a few PTs at the time who were like competing, or like I met my ex-boyfriend there as well. So I just kind of like got into it a little bit. And yeah, it went from there really.
God, and what's the one thing, what's your main thing that you wish you knew back then? Like, what is it that you wish you had done back then? Like, considering you just went into it, not knowing anything, just thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I haven't lived the lifestyle. I'm just going to do it. Because I feel like, and this is no hate on anyone, I just feel like currently right now, bodybuilding is becoming such a ridiculous trend that anybody, anyone is just doing it because they want to. There's no substance behind why they're doing it. They've trained for 6 months and they've not got a coach. They've lost a little bit of weight and they just are competing.
Yeah.
You've kind of done that. Is there anything that you would suggest why you would never recommend it?
Yeah, 100%. Like my biggest thing that I wish I'd done is get the routine and live the life before you start the prep, because I feel like I basically went from uni life, partying, staying up till like 3 a.m, eating whatever. Well, I was eating pretty well because I was swimming, so it wasn't like horrendous, but to like trying to prep. So I was then trying to like sort my routine out whilst dieting, and like I never even tracked my food consistently or like followed any sort of plan. So I was going from like, you know, being a bit all over to then all of a sudden trying to diet and get everything organized. So
one extreme,
the biggest thing that I put in.
One extreme to the other.
Oh, literally. And that's why it's so impossible. That's why I failed so badly, because it was just impossible to like organize myself and do the diet. So biggest thing that I wish I'd done, and that I recommend everyone does, is live your life like you are a bodybuilder, or like you are at least consistent and do an off season first, like work with a coach, build your calories up nice and high, get used to like tracking consistently, following a plan, training consistently, hitting your steps, hitting your cardio, getting your sleep routine sorted. Get that first and then start your prep. Because when I tried to prep the first 2 times, it was actually the first time I didn't even do the prep. I did 2 weeks and was like, nope, never doing this again, not for me.
Be me
And
next week, guys. Quit prep.
oh, everyone has that, don't they, at times. And then the second time I did actually make it to the stage, but it was so ropey. It was literally like the most horrendous prep in the world. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. And now look. But both times I literally just dove in and didn't even have a routine. So I was going from like nothing to trying to diet. So it will be, because think about how easy it's going to be, right? If you're already hitting your calories, you're following a meal plan, you're training regularly, you're hitting your steps. When you're going to prep, nothing really changes apart from you eat a little bit less food. So it's like, yeah, a little bit more cardio. It's such an easy change.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying to like get all your routine and you're trying to then diet, it's just like so much change in one go. And like, you all have probably had this with your posing as well, but I've had girls come to me before and they're like, oh, I want to prep, like my show's in 12 weeks. And I'm like, I don't even know anything about you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you need that time.
That's like another thing in itself, like a recommendation, like, okay, cool, you want to compete, but remember the stage is always there. And if you're going to a coach basically just saying like, right, I want to compete, I'm competing in July, cool, but I've not gone through a diet with you, I don't know how your body responds.
Exactly.
Have you built your food up? Have you been, have you, you know, are you gonna, I'm currently dieting on probably like 2,500 calories. I don't really know because I don't know my macros, but I know I worked my food up to 3,500 calories. If your starting point is at 1.5 thousand calories or even like 1.8, 1.9, you're gonna have to diet on low calories and you're gonna be, so it's just not going to be nice. And like, did your physique actually, the question that I think that lots of people should ask themselves is, are you respecting the sport? Are you truly respecting the sport? Would you go on a football field and clash and put yourself on like in a match if you've maybe only done 3 months worth of training and a slight bit of a diet? And would you do that in front of thousands of people? Most people would probably say no, but because bodybuilding is glamorized and because it's the show, it's photos, and it looks fun, people do it. But it's like, would you do that in any other sport? Would you do that in running?
Yeah, you'd prepare, wouldn't you?
Like, would you like, and this is what's quite infuriating, and this is why people, I think, need to really think about, like, is it the right time for you to compete? Do you have to compete this year? Are all things in place for you to compete, like to have a really good prep? And not to mention, don't put yourself in a position where your health is then fucked because you've just decided to compete. Everything
100%.
And get a coach and be with that coach. You should be with a coach for at least a year. At least go through an off season. At least go through a diet phase with your coach before you consider it, because your prep will be so smooth that you will thank yourself.
Yeah, and also, like, speaking from experience, like, you do not want to go into a prep without having spent time, I think, in an off season first, because it's just really not fun. Like, if you are eating like sub 1,000 calories a day, doing, this is what I was doing, right, sub 1,000 calories a day, multiple hours of cardio, it's just not fun. And you end up just literally hating it. And it just makes, like, it took me like 3 years to get back to a good spot to be able to prep again. So if I had probably took an extra year at the start before I prepped, I probably could have just maybe done the year or two after. But it really knocks you back if you don't do it properly. It takes you so long to recover from putting your body through that. And like mentally as well, like my relationship with food was like awful after for years. So it's just not worth it. And I think, you know, like, you want to love bodybuilding and love training hard and like progressing yourself.
Love that first.
Yeah, and then do the prep because you love the bodybuilding. Don't choose the competing and then you have to do the bodybuilding because you want to compete.
This is it. Like, I only compete. Obviously, training was influenced because I want to bodybuild, but I loved training. And the reason I compete is because it's kind of like the result of training and living this life. Like, if I had to train a specific way, for example, I was wanting to go towards wellness. I tried the training, realized that it was something, there's a lot more to it, but I realized that the training like that, it was really hard. And I was like, I was going into sessions like, I don't like this. This is really like, this is not me. So, and I knew that, well, why? I had to think to myself, why are you competing tonight? You're competing because you love to train.
Yeah.
Why are you
Yeah.
training a way that you don't like because of competing? It's just not, it's
Yeah,
just,
that's so true.
and it's just how I think. But I just think you have to love everything that comes with it, and that the
Yes.
stage is just, it's just the cherry on the top. It
Yeah,
in
I was literally just gonna
reality,
say
it's
that.
cool. Like, you get a
Yeah.
trophy, you know, if you go into the high levels, you get this and that. But in reality, like, even Reese, my partner, says it. He's like, the stage is just the stage for me. He was like, it's the progressions that I take within my training
Yeah.
session. It's the most fun, you know, building food up, seeing, like, you know, the growth that I actually have. Like, it's not stage for him or me
Yeah.
that's the best bit about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I would still do bodybuilding if I wasn't competing.
Yeah, this is it. This
Yeah.
is it, because it's life, and it's just, there's nothing.
Yeah. I just love it.
But yeah, two bits of advice: get yourself a coach, be with that coach for a year at least, or and
Eat your food.
food up, and love training and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
What's your like biggest kind of like thing you would change, or biggest like tip, or something you'd wish you'd done differently? I feel like you were pretty well prepped, to be fair, so I don't feel like you probably have much to change because it went pretty well, didn't it?
It did on like, it did because I showed the good things. I think
Yeah.
in comparison to you, my prep was smooth and sailing. Um,
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I wish I did was ensure I was in a good financial position. Um,
Right. Yeah.
and that's
That's
one
a good
thing.
tip, actually.
It's one thing I really kind of regretted when I was in uni. I'm in uni. At that point I had a part-time job who my hours were getting cut. I was earning £40 a week. £40 a week plus a student finance every like
Yeah.
3 4 months. Like, I was flat out broke, but luckily I had a credit card. And let me just tell you, that credit card got used, and I got myself into some serious amount. I say serious amounts of debt. For me, it's serious amounts of debt,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like owing people money.
Yeah.
So I just did the prep, and I wasn't educated enough and realize how freaking expensive
It
these
is.
preps are. And if
Yeah.
I realized how much the prep was, then I wouldn't have done it, because
Yeah.
you can spend minimum 2.5 grand. I'm sorry, but it is a minimum to
Yeah.
if
It's a lot.
gym membership, if you add the registration, if you add the bikini, if you add the heels,
Yeah.
if you add the posing lessons, if you, there's so
Tan, the
much
makeup. Yeah.
makeup, hair, tan, just everything.
Supplements.
It.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And I just wish I actually, luckily I'm in a position now where I paid off all the debt and I'm all good and I can pay for this prep next. But I wish someone had told me, you do know it's expensive. You do know you need
Yeah.
a lot of money for it. And
Yeah.
that would be a to that advice. Make sure you're in a good financial position. But B would be, if you're looking to compete, buy things that you can in advance. Do not do what I did
Yes.
and buy everything 3 months into a prep or the start of prep, because you lose so much money within a short space of time.
Yeah.
So, for
Yeah.
example, like, when you start prep, you know your date, right? You know when you're going to compete, but book the hotel. That's one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
it off, I don't know, 6 months before. Book your tan, done next month. Month after
100%.
that, book this, book that, and just pay for things in deposits. Like, spread the cost. It's like the same with posing. Like, I was lucky; I didn't really need any posing lessons. I mean, I look back at the video that I took, and I'm like, ugh, and I cringe out on my own posing. I'm surprised I
I
had.
don't think anyone else would do that though, to your posing.
This is it. Like, honestly, like, I look back and I'm like, I'm surprised I got clients from that show because nah, cringe. But it's like I didn't have to spend money on that. But things like
Yeah,
start early, people come to me at like 10 weeks out and they're having to spend like 400 quid to get a
yeah,
session with me every week. And I'm like, fuck me, if I had to do that, that would fuck me over. That would
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
me over.
That's another really good tip as well. Like, start your posing. Like, the girls that I've got prepping, I've got some girls that aren't competing until next year, and I've said, right, start your posing now, because I want their posing done and dusted like before they start their prep.
Yeah, and then
So
you could
when
take
they're
the
starting to get
trust.
tired, they're okay.
This is it. People, like all of my girls always say to me, every single one, if I was to ask every single one of those girls, even girls with previous dance or gymnastics experience, so they're pretty, touched upon like their
Yeah,
bodies, it's the hardest thing
it literally
about
is.
bodybuilding. And because we make it look so easy, people go, oh, it's easy. It's on social media, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah,
So there is so much more to posing than just putting your body in a position, because there's certain activation points, certain cues,
yeah,
certain things that look better on you. Like you've got to build up your posing stamina, like the one thing that people forget is the judges don't care how much cardio you did. They don't care how little your food got to. They don't care what you had to do to get to that point. What they care about is what you look like on that stage.
yes,
And the
yeah,
thing that Tom told me, he was like, if you had a twin who, let's say, a duplicate of you on that stage,
yeah,
one of you posed really well, really good stage presence, posed to their strength, and someone was
yeah,
mediocre, had decent stage presence,
yeah,
but kind of was just like meh, could clearly tell that they didn't prioritize it. Who do you think is going to win with the exact same physique?
yeah,
They're
100%.
going to have the edge. And if you really are, like, if people will segregate it in like what's more important, nutrition's more important, training's more important. For me, it is such a split total on nutrition, training, posing, cardio. Like, it is like so evenly split, but people just forget about it. And it's like, I'm sorry, but it's what they don't care about what you look like the day before, the day before that, the day before that. They look like what you look like on the day.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
why are you not working into making yourself look good on the day? Like,
yeah, yeah. And it really changes things so much, your posing. And it's so hard. Like, even I, to be fair, I probably don't do my posing enough in my off season. I do it every week, but probably not enough as I should,
I would
like,
probably
as much as I
tell
should
you
do.
off.
God.
It's
But it's literally, like, I think it's the hardest bit. It took me so long to get it right. Like, even being able to hold a pose. Like, I remember when I did some posing with some of my clients at, like, we did like a team training day, and we did some posing, and all of them the next day were like, oh my God, I'm so sore. And we'd only done like 15 minutes. And it literally is, even twisting around and like holding yourself in that position, even when you know what you're doing, is like super hard.
yeah,
So yeah, so basically start your posing really, really early, as soon as you can.
yeah.
So start your posing early, spread your cost,
it
go to Sania,
it also
get a
reduces
coach.
stress. It reduces stress
Yeah, it
because
does.
you know you've got it, and you only need to
Yeah,
see a posing coach like maybe like a few times within the prep, because as your
yeah,
body changes, the posing will change, whatever. But it means that you're not 5 weeks out going, Sanaya, I need a session with you. Can you fit me in? I know you're fully booked, but I need you, like all that kind of stuff. Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
I say to my clients, I have an Excel sheet and I have their dates of their show, and I have a date of when they shouldn't be learning anything new prior to their
yeah.
show.
Oh, that's very organised.
The thing is though, I've I've helped girls, and I've had to help girls who haven't really done much posing at like 5 weeks out. And you and I both know at 5 weeks out, we don't let anything in. We don't have their brain power. It is very difficult to coach someone
Yeah,
who genuinely doesn't have the capacity to learn anything new.
yes,
And it's a
yeah,
waste of my time. It's very infuriating because I'm very passionate about posing, but it's also infuriating for the person because they're trying the hardest, but they've just got nothing left.
yeah. Because you're absolutely done in at 5 weeks out.
Yeah, this
And
is
you
it.
can't even turn your head in the right direction.
Literally, they'll just be looking at me and I'll be like, left foot. And they'll just be looking at me because that you zone out because you're just so
Yeah,
tired.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Have you got anything else that, in terms of tips. So get a coach nice and early, do an off season, make sure you're living like bodybuilding before you actually go into your prep. Spread your costs, start your posing early. I'm trying to think if there's anything else what I would. I've got one that's kind of coaching, it's kind of related to getting a coach, but I think make sure that you've got a good support network around you, like you've got people who will support you. Because I think if you're around people that are constantly like on at you all the time, or I think that will probably make it a lot harder. And I know that's not always like something you can change, but even making sure you've got like a coach that you feel like you can talk to and you can be honest with, because I think at least then you've got someone that really like supports you and gets you and can be like there for you throughout the whole prep.
That's it. I think that's a good. I think that's good. You know, support system's crazy. Like I say this a lot, and probably all of you have heard this before. But if I didn't have Beth, like sat right there next to me when I was in this office area, just literally bawling my eyes out and thinking I'm gonna quit so many times, I probably wouldn't have gotten to the finals. Like genuinely, I can go through messages and I will show you how many times I wanted to quit a day.
I remember you saying that actually.
Like it was
Last when you were prepping.
I wasn't doing it for me at that point, and that's what was frustrating. I was doing it for everyone else who supported me because they wanted me to do it and they thought it was a good idea, but because I wasn't going in for the win potentially, and I was like, well, but why? And it's a really bad mindset to have, you know, you only compete to win. Like I don't have that mindset anymore. But at the time it was, and it was so difficult. So having the support network and educating maybe your friends and family prior to you starting prep.
Definitely.
And also go easy on your family and friends. Like so many people get frustrated at their family and friends that they don't understand it, or they say certain things that maybe would insult you. Remember, these guys don't live your life. Remember, these guys have no idea what's going on. Like it's taken me 2 years of just calm chatting and educating my family on it. Like they've got no idea what this is. So for them to say something, I don't know, if they say you're looking really skinny, I don't get offended by that, because I know that they don't really know what that means, and I get what they're trying to say. Or if they're worried about me, I'm like, I get it. I get why you're worried at me. I look like a crackhead. I get it. Okay, but it's for show. But it's one thing, literally, but it's one thing that frustrates me about when I hear people getting so angry at their friends and family. Okay, if they're genuinely really against it and they're not even listening to you, then fair enough. But it's when people get frustrated and they haven't even tried to educate their family on it. And do you expect?
Yeah, it's such a weird sport though from the outside, isn't it? Like when you look in, like if I didn't know anything about bodybuilding and I was looking and I was like, wait, so you eat loads of food and like put weight on, and then you get like really, really skinny, not skinny, but you know, really, really shredded and don't eat any food and basically can't function. And then you get really tanned and put a really sparkly bikini on. It's like so weird.
As a female, it's like you want to get that muscular. And you've got to remember, our parents in this kind of lifeline, that is not normal to them. Okay, it may be normal now, but they've got to have time to adjust. Their baby girl wants to grow muscle, which in their eyes is a masculine feature, which is completely fine. Like, it took my dad a while to kind of go, my baby little girl wants to grow muscles like a man. But now
were your parents like good with it, or did it take a bit of time for them to like adjust?
I didn't really give them an option because I'm quite vocal with my opinion anyway. I didn't really give them an option to kind of be negative towards it, because I turned it into something positive. I was basically like, look, this is what I want to do. I was like, you either support me or you don't. If you support me, then you know that's going to go a really long way. You don't have to understand it, but if you have any questions, come speak to me.
That's really good.
This is how I want to be. I do not aspire to be a big girl anyway, but it wouldn't matter if I did. I'm still the same person, just may look slightly different, but that's what I want. Why do you want to look like you've got a beer belly? I might have an opinion on that. Why do you want to look really skinny as a male? Do you know, like, I'm not questioning your lifestyle. So please don't try and question mine. But if you want to learn, then feel free. But if you want to make me feel like if you want to make me feel bad for what I love doing, I don't want to hear it. If you're not willing to. And that was kind of, and then they kind of thought, actually, and then it was after I won my show that I think they thought, oh, she's actually serious about it. Because I think it's like most things they think, because where I was young, they're like, it's a phase.
Yeah.
But then I think they realize, oh, she's actually quite good at it, and she actually does this all the time. And I also don't live with my family, so they don't really have a chance to be opinionated with it. But they weren't too bad with it. How were yours? Did they take?
Mine were brilliant.
Yeah, really good.
They've never said anything at all or negative, like never. But they're actually really like understanding. I feel like they actually know quite a lot about bodybuilding and not how it works. Like I feel like they just kind of dove straight in at the start. I'm like, oh, brilliant! Like they've come to all my shows. Yeah, I think because I was swimming when I was younger, I was already quite heavily into sport, and like I was already doing a bit of weight training through my teens. And then I did sports science at uni, so I think I was already quite into the sports side of things, so it just kind of developed. But they've never said like, oh my god, like this is like too much or whatever, like, because I think when like my mum sees me, for example, I don't think people realize how small you actually get, and you look really big on the photos. Like I get this all the time, right? Oh, you're loads smaller than I thought you were.
Yeah.
Because photos make you look like really like massive and muscular, whereas actually when you prep as a female, you're actually really tiny.
And also, unless you're like one of these really, really big girls who hold a lot of muscle, like when you're in your off season as well, like genuinely, you would see that I train, but you wouldn't think that I was a bodybuilder. You wouldn't mistake me. I genuinely I look like a normal girl now.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's because on social media, all your parents or family will see these orange tangerine diced up females or males, and they're like, how you're going to be throughout the whole year. And it's like, I promise you, it's not like that. It's not like that the whole time. It's like that for one day.
Yeah, literally.
One day.
Yeah, so but mine have been really, really absolutely fine, which I know is probably quite unusual, but I didn't have to explain any of it to them.
To be fair, mine weren't negative, but they weren't like all entirely positive, and like, they just didn't really have an opinion on it or said any opinions to me, which I kind of preferred, because if they did have any questions, I was really eager to talk to them.
Yeah.
I was thinking, should we do a few more on tips on what to do on show day and what to expect on show day as a first time, and then we'll leave it there.
Yeah, because I've got some little bits and bobs what's like show day related, and I'm like, stuff like this I didn't find out until after I'd done my first comp, and I'm like, this, you know what, I've actually got a really bad story about what happened on my second comp.
What?
I used that you know that bikini bite, the glue.
Oh god, don't ever use that. Whatever
don't use bikini bite. I had a disaster with it. It had one of them rollers on the end, right? And I was like squeezing it on the side, and the roller popped off, and all the glue went all down my leg and my bum and everywhere. And I was at this point having like a meltdown backstage. My mum was backstage with me because I didn't know anyone in bodybuilding at this point. I was just like by myself. And the tan woman had like a massive go at me, and I was like petrified, about to go on stage, and she had to wipe all the tan off my leg and basically just instant tan my leg, like literally 2 minutes before I got on stage. So that was bad. So yeah, don't use bikini bite.
Don't use bikini bite because of that, but also don't use bikini bite because it's fucking shit. It is so shit. If you're going to use anything to hold your bikini together, use bikini bum tape, or just get a bikini that fits you.
Yeah, and get your bikini fitted properly. Like, go and get it measured. And I mean, I got mine fitted in person, which I think worked better for me, but make sure your bikini actually fits you properly.
Yeah, like your bottoms and your bra specifically. And also, girls, do not think more padding is better, okay?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, my show day experience, I definitely think, my first ever show, I definitely think I showed my nipple off a fair few times.
Because the padding was like pushing the boob up.
Because I had the pad. When you do like side poses or something like that, the bar will just flip out. You want something with a little bit of pad, but really tight, so it squishes your boobs and it's stuck to you. You don't want
a boob gap.
No, because trust me, honestly, it's not a good. And just also be cautious of how small your boobs get, because they go.
Yeah, no boob.
What else is it that I wish I knew on show? Oh, Shall we talk about the tanning process? Shall we talk about the tanning process?
That's an experience.
That is fucking weird. I didn't, oh my God, I was in horror. My first experience, I was mortified. What the fuck? What the fuck?
It is a bit weird, isn't it?
I thought I'd be in my own separate room with my own little girl drying off. No, no. Unless you go private, no, that is not the case.
It's like a cow pen.
Oh my God, fannies, tits, assholes. I've never seen so many women's bodies in my whole entire life. You have to bend over. You have to lunge. You have to butt cheeks away.
You have to squat with your knees out and bend forward.
Honestly, this is it's you almost don't care because you're so dead inside and you're like, I've worked for this body. But at the same time, in my head, when she said, please squat, as I was facing the rear, I was like, are you doing a search?
Really?
Like, are you doing a search on me to see if I've got anything up
there? It is weird, isn't it? And everyone's just queuing up in a long line. There's like 50 girls in a line. Loads of girls just stood there in front of fans drying, and then basically like
you're all in a circle, aren't you? And you just like
everyone can like see each other.
But you know what? You know when like you know when you're not meant to look at something, like
but you can't help it.
But like when you're talking to girls when they're naked, I look into people's eyes. Like I am a very confident person when I'm speaking. But do you know how difficult it is not to wander your eye below? Because when you're looking at someone, you look at their whole body, right? When you're talking to someone whilst they're naked, you're staring right in the face, and then you look to the left, and there's a fanny to your left. You look to the right, there's a fanny to your right. Like it is hard not to look at. I try not.
It is really weird, isn't it?
It's gonna sound pervy, but it's so hard.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's weird. It's so.
You don't care.
No, you will. You'll probably listen to this like I can't do it. But I promise you now, you genuinely won't care, and you will just enjoy it. Yeah, unless you want to go private if you're really that scared about it. But at the end of the day, a fanny's a fanny.
Yeah, you know what? It's all good, and I feel like now we're talking about it, it's so flipping weird. But when you're actually there, it's just like whatever.
The tanning ladies, it's so normal to them. They don't. It's no big deal. It's just yeah. Strip off.
You know what tip I've got as well, actually, just thinking about going on from the tanning. I don't know if you did this, but I used like a shiwi.
Oh no.
Did you do
that? I was so, you know what? I always recommend not using a shiwi. I recommend power weeing and squatting. Do you know why? Because I clearly have shit aim, and I peed so hard and so fast and such a quick wheel that it will go
it fill over the top
and it just explodes. So my first show, I had piss stains all down my ass, and he said to me, "What have you done?" And I was like, "I tried to wee, but I don't know what happened." So I spotted and power pissed into the toilet.
So basically, if you've got a power piss, don't use a shiwi because it will have very direct aim. If you've got a little tinkler of a wee, use a shiwi, because otherwise, if you do a little tinkle and it veers off to the side, you fucked your leg tan up.
Yeah, but also that's a reminder for you girls. One thing that I stressed about was when I fucked my tan up, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go on stage looking like this. Oh my God, I'm so stressed. No, do not worry, girls. You get patted before you step on stage. You'll get spot tanned.
Yeah.
So if you do have any mistakes, or if you do sweat or anything like that,
they top it up.
Yeah, and if so, just bring like a top up and a sponge yourself, and just get someone or yourself to do it. Like it's actually quite an easy fix. So don't stress about that on show day.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as well. One more thing that I did once, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. Get your makeup done professionally. Don't do it yourself, because I didn't get mine done professionally once, and it's so hard to match the colour up, and then it's like you don't want your face really dark. It's just so hard. So I think just get your makeup done. It's expensive, but it will just, they know the colour it needs to be right on stage.
Stage makeup is so different to normal makeup though, because this makeup, you would need to, like, let's say that contour, like obviously here you probably can't see it, but in normal light, this is quite like a nice contour. It's not anything too much. It's
Yeah.
quite, and you probably all day makeup is what you would wear. You've got to put on like extreme amounts of makeup. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't really blend that much. Like it needs to be sharp. It needs to be strong colors.
Yeah.
The reason why we're so tanned is because the lights on the stage wash you out. So if you're hardly wearing any makeup, it's gonna make you look really, really pale, make you look washed out in your face. Like you're not gonna look like you've got makeup on, you're just gonna look like a blob of black.
Yeah. Well, mine was too dark. Mine was like really, really dark. And it just, because your makeup on your face is meant to be slightly lighter than your tan
Lighter,
colour, isn't it? But
yes.
obviously, if you're doing it yourself, you have to kind of guess what colour makeup to buy to take. And then it was just too dark. And I was like, too dark. So I just think pay, get your makeup done, and then you're covered then just in case.
You're gonna save on anything, save on your hair. Like that's
Yeah,
what
I just save my hair.
save on your hair, save on your nails. You can get literal like stick-ons. You
Yeah.
don't need these show day nails, you don't have to get
Yeah.
them. Bikinis, you can literally
Yeah.
rent
Get a second-hand
bikinis.
bikini.
Like you don't need to like buy all that shit. What else is a really good way to save money?
Jewelry you can just get from like Compact. That's like so cheap, or Amazon.
Like there's so many ways that you can save money. Like it will still be expensive, but there are ways that you can save it.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that I would recommend? Pack everything. Pack everything like 2 weeks before. Have everything 2 weeks before your show, so that a week before your show, you're not going, I need to go to the shop. I need to do this. I get everything done 2 weeks before. Pack your bag, then you're done, and then go back to it and pack everything else that needs to be in there, because
Yeah.
it's you want the least amount of stress in peak week. Like you don't want to really be doing much in peak week.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think that's all I've got.
Yeah, I think so too. Now I can't think of anything right now. I feel like there was quite an extensive list there.
Yeah, so girls, we should have said get your notebooks out, and make some notes here. But yeah, so that's going to be that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. As you can see, it's very informal, it's very chatty, it's very much like it's just a bit of girl banter and just a bit of an educational aspect to it as well. So hopefully you girls can kind of enjoy that, and it not be so dry.
Yes, exactly. But I'm excited, and I feel like got lots of ideas and it's going to be fun basically. So make sure you're following us on social media as well if you're not already. So your Instagram is at Sania Fitness.
At Sania Fitness _, and I think yours is, if we're doing each other's, at Leah _undivided.
That is correct. Wow. I wasn't sure where your underscore went.
My name right though.
Yeah.
But also
I actually did used to call you Sania, sorry.
Yeah, well,
before I knew you properly.
Probably until like someone corrected you, or like, you know what, the announcers, really quickly, when I got my when I won the British Championship, I said to they even asked me, how do you pronounce your name? And I said Sania, and then he goes, and the winner is Sania.
Did you deny him?
I looked at him, I was like, I even told you how to say my name. How did you get it wrong? Like, I'm gonna have to change my name, because I can't have people thinking I'm Sania. Like, I can't deal with it. But yeah, just so you guys know, we are hopefully going to be getting these up every Monday. We haven't decided on a time yet, but we will let you know due course. Every Monday, for as long as we possibly can. And yeah, so stay tuned on a Monday. Hopefully we brighten your Monday mornings, or Monday evenings, whenever we decide to upload. And yeah, hope you enjoyed episode 1, and see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.